Meanwhile, there's been some developing news tonight with Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price dumped from the shadow ministry of the coalition. It all happened because she wouldn't publicly support Susan Ley as leader of the Liberal Party. It was quite interesting. She was at a press conference earlier today and was asked, dead to rights, will you support Susan Ley as leader? And she avoided the question. It's led to this moment tonight with Susan Ley making this announcement.
Well, good evening. When I was elected leader of the Liberal Party, I made a compact with my party room and with the Australian people that under my leadership we would reflect modern Australia, respect modern Australia and represent modern Australia. Serving in my shadow ministry is a privilege and it is a requirement to have confidence in the leadership. Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price has failed the test of high standard that I have set for members of my shadow ministry. Several days ago, Senator Nampijinpa Price made comments that were deeply hurtful to Indian Australians. The comments were wrong and should not have been made. Since that time, my team and I have been out listening to Australians of Indian heritage, and we have heard their response and the pain and hurt that these remarks provided for them. And despite being given the time and space to apologise, Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price did not offer an apology today. And many Australians, not just of Indian heritage, have been calling for that apology, for remarks that were deeply hurtful. Now today, Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price critically failed to provide confidence in my leadership of the Liberal Party. Confidence in the leader is a requirement for serving in the shadow ministry. A couple of hours ago, I spoke to the Senator and I advised her of my decision.
Okay, so here's my take. There's going to be a change of leader of the Liberal Party very soon, and it's going to be Angus Taylor. The fact that Jacinta Nampijinpa Price feels so confident not to support her leader says to me change is afoot. She's essentially given up a shadow ministry. And I think you only do that if you know that you're going to be dumped, but somehow, very shortly, you've been promised to get back in. She's got Tony Abbott as a big supporter of hers, and I really think that we know she supports Angus Taylor. That's on the record. And look, she's pushed Susan Ley into a corner. This is going to divide the Liberal Party before it reunites them. And look, if you don't know how we got to this point, last week on Afternoon Briefing with Patricia Carvelis, Jacinta Nampijinpa Price basically made some comments about Indian migration. The comments have really hurt the Liberal Party, because of the big Indian community there is in Australia. They're very hurt. They're feeling disillusioned with the Liberal Party, and she wouldn't apologise for them. She said she was clumsy in her speaking. Mark my words, leadership change a coming. You are watching McKnight Tonight, and you heard it here first. In a couple of months, if that, I'm going to play this, and we're going to say McKnight was right. Judges gavel.
It's the random live shot of the day. Where are you going today? You never know where you'll end up with the random live shot of the day.
Yes, it's time for our random live shot of the day, and tonight we're heading to Central Europe. If I can just get my little cursor going, we're heading to Central Europe, and it's Slovakia. That's where we're going, Slovakia. We love Slovakia. Look at that. And what we've got here, This is a live stream that runs 24/7, showing off the spectacular landscapes of the high and low Tatras. So this feed actually just goes to all different feeds and all different live cameras around the nation. You can see sweeping mountains, seasonal changes, and even catch glimpses of the villages below. Weather-wise, they're expecting a bit of rain with a high of 20 degrees after a low of 16. Oh, that's nice. I'm just heading into the yonder. Look at that. Lovely. I was waiting for it to change. I don't think we're going to get there. All right, let's take a look at the feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight. We've got this one from Jeanette. How long before he breaks the gavel like he did the button Studio 10? Did I break the Studio 10 button? Don't remember doing that. Probably true, though. All right, what else have we got there, Jazzy? We've got everybody is controversial to someone, and this is on the interviewing Graham Hood on Monday, and there was some commentary about the fact that I was platforming him. So thank you for that. Paul says, we must have a diversity of views in the conversation and allow us to form opinions and make decisions for ourselves. Keeping people out of the conversation only inflames issues. Quite right, Paul. I agree with that. Own Your Crazy says, I don't mind balanced media. It's the views being expressed that I may personally disagree with, but that doesn't mean I believe they shouldn't be invited to talk. Love that. Good. Restoration Archive. Journalism doesn't discriminate, it only reports. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm loving this feedback. I thought I would cop some negative here, I've got to say. I'm really liking what you guys are saying. Michael T, it's too easy to get stuck in an echo chamber where you only hear what you want to hear. Listening to other views challenges you think you know. Challenges what you think you know, as long as the conversation is respectful. Thank you, Michael. Over the page we go. And Matthew says, this is on the fines issue. High fines being used to try and bring down the death toll, the road toll. SA Police had to put up fines a couple of years ago because of a budget shortfall. Yeah, but they weren't trying to revenue raise. No. Thank you, Matthew, for your feedback. We've got this one from Own Your Crazy. We Queenslanders love funding our government with our traffic fines. We have so many fudge psychos on the road. Is that a reference? It was during the Ben Robin Robbo show or the Ange Robin Robbo show where I showed a bit of video of me on the road, and a truck driver was threatening me with a hammer, and I am on video saying, "You're an effing psycho!" And I yelled it out, and I didn't say F, and I said the word. But anyway, Clint says this via Facebook. If the legal speed limit is 110 kilometres an hour in most areas, why are speedometers over 200 kilometres? Now, I'm not a car guy, but my understanding is because if the engine can do 200 or 220, when you're sitting at 100 or 110, it sits nicely and it's not using the motor to its maximum. You've got to remember, nothing is good that gets used to its maximum. It's like your CPU on your computer. It has a high CPU. You don't want to be running at 100%. Hey? Yeah. Robbie knew something. Jeanette says, wearing seatbelts saves lives. It certainly does. That makes a difference, Jeanette. Absolutely. Over the page we go, and Restoration Archive says, you know what's interesting? There are less accidents in LA compared to Australia, and LA is about the same population. People in Australia are too busy looking at their speed and cameras and cops. Yes, and I keep looking at Waze to know where the speed, cameras and cops are. Waze is a great app. Jimmy says, pew pew, the new slogan of McKnight Tonight. You know, I didn't know if I was going to get in a lot of trouble for that joke. I'm glad you guys came along on the journey for me. All right. Okay. We have got so much coming up on this edition of McKnight Tonight. Keep the feedback coming.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. McKnight Tonight. It's good night from McKnight Tonight.